So I was just wondering, why wasn't he offered some kind of first offenders thing where maybe he do a little probation, and after he completes it, his record is wiped clean. Even be able to get out on a signature bond. I mean, we're talking about a blow-up doll. So I'm just wondering, why didn't any of these things come into play?
I'm not sure why they did not do an intervention. I think what we're looking at is a greater issue of a lot of the laws that are being enacted and are being renewed allow the system to be able to utilize them to their benefit. And that includes, the overreaction. It includes being able to overcharge. And I think that that's a larger systemic issue, not only in our community, but for young people in general. They are subject to authorities that were not even heard of in my time or in other times. So I think that's one of the reasons that we decided to get involved, because as citizens of this country, somebody has to say enough is enough.
404-892-2703. Toby, good morning.
Hey, Dr. White, I want to know, can I make a comment about the immigration issue, if possible?
Hold on just 1 minute, please, sweetheart. 404-892-2703. Stephen.
All right, Dr. White. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
It's definitely very unfortunate that this young man has been charged with what he's been charged with. And of course, he's been dealt with the way he's been dealt with since he's been in the legal injustice system. As you stated, that this system is flawed, but it's not flawed. That's our problem. We keep looking at this system based on what it tells us it's supposed to do, not understanding clearly that a system can only do what it was created to do. So this system was put into place several hundred years ago. The question that we've got to ask ourselves, if we can agree on the reality that a system can only do what it was created to do, what was our condition as a people when this system was established or put into place? So why are we looking at this system thinking that we're going to change it, that we're going to move it, that we're going to make it new, when the founding fathers gave us the ability? When this system is no longer working in the interest of the masses of its people, it is our right and duty to take this system down, put one in place that is of, by, and for the people. So my real point here is, at what point in time are we going to step forward and create a buffer between our youth and the criminal injustice system? Because there are many young white men, white boys, who do the same things as this brother did, who don't even get a record. It's dealt with in the district attorney's office or the police station outside of having to actually legally prosecute anyone. And then secondly, Jahai was speaking just before this, Dr. White, about influences, negative influences. See, has Brother Tyrell been watching American Pie or been watching all these other little prank kind of movies where they show young men out here doing all kind of pranks in the movies, these little teenage movies that our youth are caught up in? So they're watching this kind of stuff happen in the movie on a regular basis, and there's no criminal prosecution, not to this degree. And it's always a happy ending. So when we always show our children negative things or irresponsible behavior that they can get involved in as so-called fun, but we don't show them in the movie the blatant reality that, listen, this is America. Don't get it twisted. That's the white boys on American Pie who can do that. You are an American lie if you think that you're a U.S. citizen and you have the same rights as young white men. That's an American lie that we've got to bust up in our children's minds. So for you, the advocate, what is next? Because this is just one situation. It comes out of a Janalo Wilson and a Marcus Dixon and a whole lot of other things that's been going on in our community. What is the next step, in your opinion, to put in place a real solution to criminalizing our children at such an early age?
Thank you so much for your call, Stang. When we return, if you could comment on where we are now with Tyel's case. Does he have a good lawyer? What has been the community response there in Indiana? What about the school officials? What are they saying? Do they think it's fair? Even though they reported it, did they expect it to go this far? We'll get all those answers from Stang when we return to News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Voted one of the 100 most influential black women in Atlanta by the Atlanta Business League is Lorraine Jacques White with Power Talk on News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Welcome back to Power Talk, News Talk 1380, WAOK. Big Mike?
Hey, Lorraine, good morning. How are you?
Great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Got a quick question. Now, did you say the young man went to school with a box in his hand?
I think Stang did say that he had this blow-up doll in a box. Is that correct, Stang?
He had the blow up doll in a small box. He goes in the girls' restroom and comes out.
So he went into the girls' restroom with the blow-up doll in the box, and I guess somebody must have seen him come out without the box that he went in there with. Do you know who that was that saw him, Stang, and alerted everybody?
I can only go from the reports that I've been able to find, and it was reportedly a custodian. But they reached out to Tayal like immediately after the event, so they knew who they were looking for. They also knew that that Tayal had no disciplinary issues. He's the type of kid that all they would have had to do was ask him, and he would have told them. It's a very, very small high school. It's not like the entire, graduating class is like 1,600 people. It's a small town. It's a small high school. They know their kids independently. And Tayal has even been awarded for, positive citizenship and for his grades and things like that. So they weren't dealing with somebody that, has a history of behavior problems.
But Lorraine, if the school has a policy about no tolerance, and now what would give him the right to walk in, stating that he has a record of good behavior and this and everything, but what would give him the right to walk into the school with a concealed box? Now, that's going to be a problem. If they don't get a big hold on this thing, it's going to balloon, it's going to mushroom into something really big. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
If I may, Lorraine.
Yes.
There was nothing concealed. He walked in and walked out, and I want to address this issue of zero tolerance. Zero tolerance is definitely a policy in a lot of places. However, zero tolerance is also based on discretion, and that's what we keep going back to, is a misuse of authority and a lack of discretion. Sure, should there have been a consequence because he broke school rules? Absolutely. Is a week in jail enough? Absolutely. At what point do you take someone who can become a very positive and contributing member of society and back them up to the point where they are not even able to function in the society because they have a felony at 18 years old?
Right, and now, because he was not permitted, they probably just eliminated him from graduating. Is that correct?
Well, they eliminated him from participating in commencement. The last I know is that since he did receive all of his credits and things like that, that they were going to mail him his certificate. But it's not the same as, as walking across that stage with people that you've gone to high school with for 4 years. So
they're going to mail him a certificate or a diploma?
Well, his diploma, because he has earned his diploma.
Okay. 40489.
I'm sorry. He also does have ambitions to go to college. He is a very astute young man that has a lot of potential, and we think a week in jail to show him that rules are for everybody is plenty.
Does he have a good lawyer?
Yeah, from what we understand, he does. His family has retained counsel, and we do accept. There are donations for his defense fund at freetayalmorton.org in the How You Can Help section. And we do also have a Facebook that's facebook.com/freetayalmorton, and we do consistent updates and things like that. But he does have a private attorney. It is a financial strain on the family, so we have been trying to get people to help donate to the defense fund, whether it's $5 or whatever they can afford. The family really appreciates the community response.
404-892-2703. Joy?
How you doing, Lorraine?
Great, Joy.
Right. This is very interesting, listening to this woman as she speaks about this young man. Now, there's a new law that the Supreme Court has just passed, I think it was in June, regarding young people. It tinges on Miranda rights, but it also lets people know, and she's using this phraseology, which I agree with her, judgment. These young people are, I'm not talking about illegals, I'm talking about this young man, Tayab, that he doesn't have the judgment, he doesn't have the maturity yet to I'm not saying that, I guess I am saying that he's not mature enough to know that they would bring out all the police and the fire people and all that about a little box. And I don't know how the attorney is going to look at it. And I know this lady is not, the woman is not an attorney, but it's just my mind is that I'm wondering if this new law that the United States Supreme Court has come out with will help this young man at all. And they would not do this to a white boy. I know they would not do this to a white boy.
Walter, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great, Walter.
Listen, I just want to make a comment this morning. I've been in the judicial system for almost 29 years, and I've never seen the way they treated this young man. And I don't really foresee a judge putting that kind of penalty on him once he hears all of the facts and the nature of the case, and not put him in some kind of project redirection as opposed to allowing this kid to have a criminal record. I just don't see it. But stranger things have happened.
Well, Walter, I appreciate your call. I hope that you are correct. And I applaud Stang and all of the other people who are working with her for being advocates for Tyel. Stang, what has been the response of the community in, what's the name of that city there in Indiana?
Rushville.
Spell that, Rushfield?
Rush, Rushville,
Okay.
Rushville, Indiana.
Rushville, Indiana. What has been the response from the community in that area?
We haven't heard very much. Actually, we have had a difficult time reaching out to Indiana media. We have actually been able to garner some national support versus just very, very locally. We have had some people that have written in and have supported Tyel, but it's been just a very, very mute market. The Midwest is very difficult sometimes in terms of social issues.
Oh, yes,
but
I know.
We keep working at it, and we keep working at it. A gentleman asked earlier, what do we do to correct the system? Well, this is one thing, is we have to become involved. And we have to become involved with our young people. We have to explain to them the importance. The DA made a mention of a post-Columbine environment. However, most of these kids were only 4 to 6 years old during Columbine. They don't understand what a post-Columbine environment is. So we have to encourage them to read the bills, to read up on people that are coming up for election, and vote. That's the only way to, help swing the system, is to be aware, be active, and become involved.
When we return, Stang, if you could talk to us about the school officials. What are they saying now that they found it was a blow-up doll? Do they think that it was fair, even though they reported it? Do they expect it to go this far? And what are the next steps? And how can we support the fight against this severe injustice? 404-892-2703.